I am so mad right now. They hurt my poor Mimi. They hurt my poor Mimi. I knew it was coming. There was too much buildup with Mimi and Garf, and I'm like, okay, now they're heading towards where Lust is. Something's going to happen to Mimi, but I wasn't ready for it. I should know better. Don't get connected to any characters in this series because horrible things will happen to them, and sure enough, Mimi gets hurt, and not only that, but she can't heal. I'm so mad. I'm so mad. But no, really fantastic episode. Episode 54 of ReZero. My gosh, there's like way too much I have to get into. My theory crafting starts going absolutely crazy with this episode. Yes, we finally get to see Capella as a dragon, not her regular form, but at least as a dragon, and she is super twisted, and I love it. Just that little nya 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 that she did at the very beginning when she first showed up. How goofy and how silly she was. Gets her face blasted off and just goes goofy faced. I love her. I love her already. I absolutely love her already. And I know I'm going to hate her because she's going to do probably horrible things. She's a murderous dragon, but I'm probably still going to love her. But still, I'm sorry. I have to say with the closing scene, I'm sorry, Regulus. Emilia's not. She's not a virgin. I'm sorry. Regulus, I'm sorry she's not a virgin. She's kissed before. I just feel like that's what she's going to say. Open up when we get back to her. I don't think we're going to open up with that whole scene in the next episode. But whenever they get back to Regulus, she's probably going to say, I've kissed before. Or she's going to probably say, I'm not. And she's not going to specify that it was a kiss. It's just, I think in Emilia's mind, she's no longer a virgin because she's kissed Subaru. I mean, for the longest time, she thought she was pregnant. So, it's going to be like a misunderstanding there. But the question is what's going to happen when she says that? Because obviously Regulus is not going to like that. But I like that. I like that at least he asked that. It's a crude question, but at least it kind of calms my nerves because when she first woke up and she was in that bed and she had nothing on, I'm like, oh, don't tell me like something's happened. That's gonna be real bad. I'm always open to storytelling doing whatever it wants to do, but that still wouldn't make it like feel okay. Like that would be like, oh my gosh, how could the writer let this happen? Anyways, excited to see where that goes. But again, crazy episode. Let's just go through it one by one like I usually do. Go through the episode by scene and really kind of dig into it. Obviously opening up with Garf and Mimi and them rushing off to the government office. Very interesting how much Mimi was trying to keep Garf in check. Like Garf is struggling with the situation. She's like, no, we can't fight these things. We see that that's true. I'm very curious how Mimi knew. I guess just by looking at them, she knew. Maybe by the smell of them or something like that. Maybe she got a sense for the power they have because throughout the episode, it does get into a little bit about their power itself. And I'm very curious as to where that goes. It seems like Wilhelm knows. Wilhelm at least knows the cut itself, the divine power of the death god. I think he probably knows it based on the royal family, I'm thinking, because that's where he was deeply connected. And I have my theories around that, and I'll get in that in a minute. But she didn't like it. She tried to keep him in check, try to calm him down, say, hey, you know what you're here for. They try to run away. Obviously find out that doesn't work out later on. We had a brief scene with Felt, and she was taken hostage by Reinhard's dad. It doesn't really get into exactly the details there, but Felt wants Reinhard to leave. Reinhard wants to save everybody. That's him. Reinhard is a man of justice. He wants to protect the people. So in the moment here where there's the cultists running everywhere, he wants to get out there and destroy those people. So it's always nice that we have to put some sort of thing in there to prevent Reinhard from being OP. Like the whole situation with Wrath. How do we keep Reinhard from fixing that situation because he's so OP? Let's make it to where if he kills Wrath, it kills everybody. It's same here. He could easily go out there and probably wipe the floor with so many of those cultists, but we have to put something in here to keep him from getting out there. And that apparently is his dad holding Felt hostage. Now, it seems like he's like, you want to go do that, but you have your priorities here. Your master's more important, your father's more important. My assumption is that they've given all indication that this father's not skilled. He's not powerful like Reinhard. He's not a sword saint. So I'm thinking right here what he's doing is trying to keep Reinhard there to protect him. He's afraid of the cultists, and I think he's trying to use Reinhard to protect him, and so he takes Felt hostage. Very interesting. He's like trying to bring up some crap about, hey, you want to reclaim the family name, right? You should stay here with us. Interesting. Felt wants him to go. Like, just go. And it doesn't seem like Reinhard wants to do that. This is a conundrum for him, honestly. I really like this conundrum that he's kind of facing here. He's facing either protecting the people or protecting his master, protecting Felt. And I think he's not going to go. He's definitely not going to go. But we'll see where that goes. But yeah, that's when we get into the council meeting. Subaru and the rest of the response team talking about this whole situation. And they bring up a few interesting things. And I'm curious if the light novel isn't as obvious about this, but yes, they bring up the remains of the witch. And I like how Subaru immediately goes to Envy. Wait, but Envy's alive. Witches remains. Subaru, there's multiple witches. Why do we immediately go to, well, Envy's alive because back here she said kill me. So obviously she's still alive. No, we're not talking about specifically Envy. The show, the anime, and I'm not really sure, I'm curious if the light novel's this obvious yet. Yes, the anime is very clear what it is. The anime shows Typhon. Typhon is the one that's down there because it shows a somebody and it's got the hairs kind of flaring up like they just got attacked by something to seal them away or whatever. And there's a spread of flowers. They have a crown of flowers. And yes, Typhon has a crown of flowers. So it kind of indicates here if it's true, unless this is some sort of fabrication to get us thrown off the course, that's Pride down there. They have the remains of Pride down there. And also specify the idea that they can't remove the remains because if they remove it, it's got so much power, it will collapse the entire place. Like, it will be a disaster that's greater than the flooding that they initially did to trap it. So that's interesting there. But, yes, they point out something very specific. What about that name? The name that the Archbishop of Lust gave. Capella Emerita Lugunica. And this is something that I completely have forgotten by this point, so bear with me here. But yes, Lugunica being essentially the royal family. Why would they use that name? Well, they're probably trying to bait us. They're probably trying to cause a little bit of a stir there. But yes, Wilhelm being very much connected to the royal family, having been a part of guarding the royal family, whatever, he recognizes at least Emerita. Emerita used to be this one that lived over 50 years ago. But yes, the whole royal family is supposed to be dead at this point. Yes, Capella could be using that name in order to cause a stir, to bait them, to cause some upset. Or, yes, there's a possibility there that Capella could possibly be one of the royal family, that they're still alive, that this one that was beautiful and intelligent, she could have been at some point seen as being dead, but became an archbishop. We'll see. I assume at the moment that if Wilhelm does see her in her, human form, he might actually know immediately. He also pointed out that she is ruthless. She is ruthless, so, and everybody feared her, so it makes sense there. But that starts to play in my theory, because when that whole discussion happened of the idea of possibly, again, Capella being maybe one of these royal family members that had become an archbishop that has been around for a long time, that stuck in my head so that later on, when we have Wilhelm is constantly acknowledging different abilities or just specifically the divine protection of the death god, it makes me believe that there's something connected here. That specifically if these cult members that Garf and Mimi fought and then later on everybody else fights, if they are somehow tied in with something that Wilhelm knows, it makes me believe that it's all tied to that royal family. When later on they approach the government office, all the corpses of the guard members are in eggs, which makes me assume that these corpses of her, when she sees corpses or she uses a power on the corpses, Capella, she can possibly make them rebirth as something else, monsters or possibly different cult members that surround her. So if Capella is possibly one of these royal family members, and if Wilhelm knows one of the abilities that one of the cult members is using that possibly is one of her lackeys, makes me believe that maybe she turned some of the guards of the royal family into these cult members. That's where my theory is kind of going right now with the eggs, the unhealing wound, and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, yes, that's when we find out that Mimi's not doing good. I'm super mad. That yes, all the siblings apparently have this kind of connection between them that they take damage whenever there's like a wound or whatever. And yes, they all got hurt. So obviously that means that Mimi's hurting. And then Garf shows up and Mimi's not doing well. I was crushed. I think there's like a two-side to this, obviously, because one end, yes, Mimi, she's way too cute. Love her to death. I don't want her hurt. Last episode, that girl just shot up in my favorite characters of this series list. And then to see her in that state absolutely broke my heart. Getting that brief perspective of Garf and how, yes, she was sitting there protecting him over and over again, shielding him, at the very end, shielding again, and then getting injured that way. Breaks my heart. Seeing the siblings come in there and they're broken, it absolutely crushed me. Absolutely crushed me. And then, yes, getting the idea that her wound's not healing, and that seems to be a sign of this divine protection of the death god. So we'll see where that goes. But the other side of it, obviously, that hurts is Garf. This is a guy that, yes, throughout this entire season so far has been beating himself up. He doesn't believe he's strong. He was blocked by Reinhard, and then he has all these visions of Elsa constantly mocking him. You weren't strong. You got lucky. You're not strong. You're weak. You're weak. And then here, when he's faced with somebody that is basically helping him and getting him back on his feet, giving him some sort of nurturing to get back on his feet, suddenly out of nowhere, she's hurt because of him, because he was weak. In that fight, he's constantly seeing Elsa, and it's throwing him off, and it's making him weak to the point where he has to flee. He's terrified, and what does that cause? His weakness causes an injury to somebody that is trying to nurture him, trying to protect him. He caused that. And I like how when everybody shows up, nobody wants to blame him. He's like, nobody is going to blame me. But that doesn't help. I blame myself. He blames himself. I like how he stands up. He's like, good Hal right there. He's like, I'm going to get revenge. I'm not going to let this be. I'm going to get him back. He's like, that's a good Hal. I love that guy. But no, Garf is just going downhill right now. And I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to get him back on his feet. What fight is really going to get him to kind of reclaim his confidence? And yeah, maybe that might be this fight coming up. Maybe he's finally going to take somebody down that he's going to feel like he earned it. This is something I did. I earned this. I got revenge for Mimi, probably. That's probably what it's going to be, getting the revenge for Mimi. But yeah, that broke my heart. Absolutely broke my heart. Mimi girl. They better save Mimi. I'm assuming it's going to be similar to Gluttony. If they just take down the cult members, possibly the wound heals up. Or if they break the sword, ? Because yes, one of the members has a sword, and that seems to be tied to the divine protection of the death god. Again, that might be somebody from the royal family that was reborn as a cult member. But yeah, one is able to cut anything, and it doesn't seem like you're able to heal it. The other one is just growing multiple arms, that was awesome, by the way. It's just, the guy's like, bites down the blade, holds back the arms, and then there's more arms that come up. Really cool, though. But yeah, that's when everybody goes to head out there to the government office. Subaru immediately wants to go get Emilia, but he's like, yeah, I understand. Yeah, we have to get rid of this stupid Metia because it's apparently through the Metia broadcasts everything. But the thing is that Capella's voice specifically seems to be eating at people's minds, which makes sense. Everybody was kind of freaking out. I assumed earlier, I wasn't really sure early on if it was the fact that her voice is messing with people or it's just everybody's being traumatized by hearing people dying on the other side of the microphone. It does seem like it's specifying here it's eating at people's minds. He has her head in there. We find out that Crusch apparently still has natural talent in fighting. That's great. This entire episode, like, Crusch is just, her new character is just super cute. Like, I couldn't help but this entire episode see Crusch as being just absolutely changed and this like very cute person. Just her demeanor is so different. I mean, before Gluttony got her, she was very confident, very strong. I guess the best way to put it is very masculine, not dainty. She's not a dainty girl. She doesn't need protecting kind of thing. Whereas now she kind of seems more neutral. She's very neutral. Like she has confidence, but she also has kind of a feminine side. So like, yeah, the Princess Carrie later on, just hearing her scream was like so cute. Like this little rare side of Crusch that we'll probably never see again. Once Gluttony's dead, the Archbishop, we're never going to see that side of her again. But I do have to admit that I was a little mad at Subaru because he better not win over Crusch's heart, because Crusch's heart is only for Felix. Only for Felix. Yeah, on the way, Subaru asks Al if he's any good, and he says, sorry, guy, I gotta go. I gotta go get my princess. Like, you guys do your thing, but I gotta go get the mistress. I gotta join another team. And offers a little bit of information, a little bit of advice. One, if you run into the Archbishop of Gluttony, again, he's saying here, pretty sure they're all here. All the archbishops. And I think we've pretty much seen all of them at this point. At least the ones that we've seen before. I think we've seen all the archbishops. Because Regulus is here, Capella's here, Lai and Roy is here, and Sirius is here. Now, granted, I don't think we've ever met a Archbishop of Envy. And again, Pedagogus thought that Subaru would be Pride. So there could be another Pride, or Subaru might be Pride, he just doesn't know it yet. But either way, we don't have established a Pride or an Envy. Or if there's even a Archbishop of Envy. There could be possibly no Archbishop of Envy, because my theory is that the witches cult is drawing the power from the witches, and Envy might not be still in the same location they're drawing that power from. She could, though. Anyways, he does specify that if you run into the Archbishop of Gluttony, don't give him your real name. Which that technically makes sense, because I think back when Rem was taken, I believe they all introduced themselves. I think specifically, if I remember correctly, I might be vague here, I think that Regulus kind of got it out of everybody. Regulus is all about introductions, and I think that probably opened the door there. But either way, don't introduce yourself. Don't introduce yourself. That's when they go to the courtyard. Yes, they see all the guards are all in eggs. Again, my theory is they're probably going to respawn as cult members or something like that. And then, yes, they have the fight. We have a couple things kind of point out here. The growing the arms. Like I said, Wilhelm acknowledging the weapon and how it slices, acknowledging, or at least seemingly recognizing it. And that's the important thing there, because obviously Wilhelm would have been in the royal palace way back there. We're talking, again, 50 years ago. It seems like he knows who this person is. He probably have met them before. And so I think he recognizes this ability. And that's when Capella shows up. Like I said, super funny little interaction here. I hate the mocking, obviously, but just calling Garf a little kitty cat. Meow, 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 meow. That was really cute. Yes, distracting him, saying that you're breaking my image of what a dragon should be before Julius does a little attack. Again, doesn't seem to phase her at all. She just kind of regrows it back. Interesting that they got a nice hit in there. And then, yes, again, the bell chimes and she leaves. Again, this is similar to Regulus and Sirius. I like how these books seemingly say what they're supposed to do, and it seems like a lot of it's tied in with the chimes itself. When you hear this chime, do this. When you hear this chime, do this. And right here, once again, not physically compelled to follow the book or follow the chimes, but simply acknowledging it and doing as it told. Again, similar to Regulus and Sirius, I like that idea that these things aren't like absolute where it controls them. It's just they go by it. These are the commands that we're supposed to be doing. Again, it's like somebody is writing into these books to tell them what to do, and and it's almost like a remote command that they should be following these orders. Super twisted, though. Aoyuki's voicing of it was great, and the expressiveness of it, not CGI yet. Not a CGI dragon yet. I seen some comments saying, it's so amazing that we're actually getting a 2D animated dragon. ReZero fans are eating good, and I'm like, yet? I know that a lot of these shows, they'll 2D draw them when they're expressive and they're not moving much. But the question is that once things start going down, if they fight this dragon in its full form, flying around and everything, it might turn to CGI. I hope not. I'm hoping for like everybody else. It looked good. The expressiveness and everything is there. You don't have that CGI just stiffness of it. So I want it to be 2D drawn. But obviously, if she's going back inside, she's probably going to go back into her normal form, which that's what everybody really wants to see, even though it's going to be censored. I'm not really bothered by it. It's just a joke. I'm not really bothered by it. It's just a joke. But yeah, that's when we get the Princess Carry of Crusch, which is totally freaking cute. Her screaming, him landing and his leg is just hurting, and she's all concerned for him, had his arms wrapped around him. Was super cute. But then, yes, Archbishop of Gluttony comes out. Very interesting that Subaru completely clicks this. Like, Roy, this is Roy. Roy comes out and immediately Subaru is recalling Rem. I'm curious why he immediately knows who Roy is. Subaru has never met the Archbishop of Gluttony. He's never met him. He's never met Roy. He's never met Lai. He's never met the Archbishop before. But yet he immediately connects it. He immediately knows who this is, and he's immediately aggressive. He immediately knows who it is and wants to take him down. Very curious. Very curious why he knows who he is. Did he see a picture at some point of what the Archbishop looks like? Does he just assume based on maybe there's an aura about him that he's picking up on? I'm very curious there. But yes, eventually Roy comes out, says that he's, happiness and eating is happiness and waiting makes it taste better or whatever, and eventually introduce themselves as, again, Roy. Roy Alfard, not Lai Battenkaitos. Battenkaitos? Otto is in front of Lai. Subaru right here is in front of Roy. And this is something that technically was spoiled in the OP, that yes, it seems like the Archbishop of Gluttony is two people. It's two individuals, which is very interesting. All the other archbishops, they can possess other people, like Petelgeuse could possess other cultist members, but here specifically, they're two individuals. That explains why they always refer to themselves as we. They always say we are, we this, we that, we that. That makes sense. I always assumed it was we because Gluttony has a lot of other beasts and whatever that are consuming people elsewhere, a lot of monsters and whatnot. So my assumption was that they are sort of a mass. They are a legion or whatever. So again, very interesting that there's at least this form, there's two of them. But either way, Subaru is connecting Rem to this person, which sucks because I assume Subaru is going to assume that if I take down this person, Rem will be saved. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think if he kills Roy, I don't think it will release Rem. But this could be the one that is, consumed Garf's mother's memories, if I'm correct there. So either way, it could relieve something here. I think we'll know because if they actually take down Roy, Crusch isn't going to be fixed. I don't think they're going to beat Roy right now, but if they were to defeat Roy right here, They're probably going to turn to Crusch, and Crusch is going to be like, nothing's changed. No, this isn't it. We'll see, though. But yeah, that wraps up the episode. And again, we get the little scene with Emilia and Regulus, which I'm curious if it's even any more than that. Like, yes, it could just be simply Regulus wants a harem of females and he prefers them to be virgins. It could be that simple. Maybe he just wants nothing but virgins. He doesn't like them being tainted. Or is it a deeper thing here? Is there another aspect here? It could be the fact that he, as the Archbishop of Greed, his greed is that he wants them all to himself. And if they are tainted or used or whatever, used goods, he doesn't like that. Or could there be a possibility that he wants her to be a virgin for a specific reason? That's a question mark there. I don't think it's going to be something like a virgin sacrifice for something or anything like that. He wants her for a harem, so it's going to be something possibly to connect to him somehow. He says the most important question. Again, it could be simply just preferred taste that she be a virgin, or could it be something else? That's the question mark. But again, I'm just glad that was established because that just alleviates the concern that he did something to her when she was asleep. We'll see though. That's episode 54. A lot of stuff to go through. Very long video. I appreciate everybody that stuck around to listen to all my crazy theories and me blab on about this series. But anyhow, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, hit that like button down below, comment, let me know the episode. Again, if you are a light novel reader, I don't need answers to any of my speculation. I'm just having fun speculating. But if you are somebody else that's anime only, don't read the comments because there's gonna be people that won't listen to me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe before you leave. If you like this content and you want to support channel more, links in the description below. Greatly appreciate it, guys. Until next time, you'll take care.